Hello, my name is Lo, and I am currently interested in canceling. I just happened to be in the middle of a series on canceling when Jenna Marbles dropped a message, and it was too juicy to not talk about, so I'm adding this part 2.5. You don't need to watch parts 1 and 2 in order to understand this video, but if you want to check them out for some context, I'll leave them in the description. I'll also link a few other videos about the situation that you might want to check out for some more information. But without any further ado, let's jump right in. Jenna Marbles' video has since been removed, so I'll go through a summary of it with a few clips that I luckily screen grabbed. Basically, in this video, she apologizes for some parts of her past and talks about her future on the channel.
I also get a lot of tweets from people that are saying like, "We love you, you unproblematic queen," which always makes me uncomfortable because I'm a person. Those of you that are familiar with how long I've been on the internet know that that's not true, that I've definitely done things in the past that weren't great, and I'm not completely unproblematic, and I've tried my best to grow up and to be a better person.
She shows some clips from old videos where she did blackface and made racist jokes, some of which she uploaded not realizing that they were problematic, and some of which she knew were problematic and uploaded anyway. She apologizes for hurting people with these videos and says that while she had previously left them up as an accountability measure.
If that's the case, where people will watch something and be offended now, I don't want it to exist. So I've privated a lot of my old content because I just don't want anyone to feel upset about anything.
She also addresses some of her other harmful videos that had sexist and transphobic undertones or overtones.
There's no one demanding an apology for that video of me right now, but I'm like, just, you know what, put it on my tab. Here's another thing I'm sorry for.
Then she briefly addresses concerns that people have raised about her associations with problematic people.
And I understand. I'm trying to do the same thing that you are and support and be friends with people that I'm proud of and that I love. And I just know that I'm doing my best. And I don't know, I try to just do what I can.
And in conclusion, she says that
I think I'm just gonna move on from this channel for now. I don't know if that's forever. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I want to make sure that the things that I put into the world are not hurting anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to offend anyone. I don't. In case you guys haven't noticed, there's no sponsors on this channel. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Like, I'm literally just here to have a good time. And I don't think I'm having a good time. And it seems like maybe some other people aren't having a good time. So for now, I just can't exist on this channel.
So, what do I think of this video? Well, in part 2 of this series, I analyzed 3 good apology videos and identified a few similarities between them. None of these influencers are overly emotional or trying to make the viewer feel bad for them. None of them abuse their power to shift the blame or cause any further hurt. None of them even really ask for forgiveness from the audience. Instead, they all straightforwardly identify their wrongdoing, acknowledge the harm that they caused, correct themselves on it, and show a genuine desire to do better in the future. Most importantly, in all 3 of these apologies, the influencer's goal wasn't to get the critics off their backs. They were able to put aside their ego and see the bigger picture. So how does Jenna compare based on these standards? Well, starting with the good, I do think she acknowledges the harm that she caused and shows a genuine desire to do better in the future. She clearly states that she hurt people with her old videos and she privated them in order to stop hurting people in the future. It seems that she's now taking her criticism seriously, and I think it's great that she's taking time off from YouTube to reflect on her past and work on becoming the person she wants to be. A lot of people in the comments were saying that her content has already improved a lot over the past few years, which I can't confirm or deny personally because I've only ever seen her really old stuff. But I will say that based on this video alone, it seems that she has good intentions and she doesn't want to hurt people. She wants to hold herself accountable and she is willing to change. That's great. However, there were also some issues that I noticed. First, she is very emotional, especially towards the end when she talks about leaving YouTube. And I want to stress that being emotional isn't bad in and of itself. It hurts to realize that you've hurt others, and it hurts to make a big life change. So it's okay for her to get emotional in private, but she didn't need to show it publicly. I'm sure her intent was to be open and honest and vulnerable, but by crying in this video, she got her audience to focus on and feel bad for her instead of the people that she hurt. And I mean, has anyone started crying as they apologize to you in real life? It might make you feel awkward or guilty, like you now have to forgive them or else you'll be the bad guy, or like you now have to comfort them even though they were the one who hurt you. They might end up feeling better while you feel disrespected or even manipulated. I hope I don't have to point out that that does not a good apology make. The second thing I want to point out is the timing of this apology. Even though all the videos she addresses were uploaded and criticized many years ago, she is now apologizing for them. I think it's safe to assume that this was driven by the recent Black Lives Matter protests and broad pushes for influencer accountability. And I think this speaks to a broader issue, that it shouldn't have taken a worldwide movement and trending hashtags to make all of us white people pop our privilege bubbles and start actively fighting against racism. I'm not saying this to shame Jenna Marbles for not being woke enough. That would be massively overstepping my place and would be hypocritical. I'm saying this because I'm sure hundreds, if not thousands of people must have been asking her to comment on her own racist history and BLM in general. So even though I'd like to think that this video came from a place of genuine reflection, the timing of it makes it easy to interpret it as an attempt to appease Black Lives Matter activists. And that is exactly what happened. People in her comments and in the media twisted the narrative to blame cancel culture and hypersensitive BLM activists for forcing Jenna Marbles off of YouTube. Many comments said that she didn't deserve this, that she's not actually racist, that cancel culture is toxic, that they hope she recovers. And here's the thing. I could understand people saying that once she grows from mindless racism to mindful anti-racism, she should be able to continue making inclusive videos. But instead, almost everyone is essentially saying, I know you're a good person, and no one actually got hurt anyway, so you shouldn't have to feel bad or face any consequences, which is honestly very disheartening for several reasons. First of all, by blaming cancel culture and saying her actions weren't actually hurtful, these commenters are dismissing anyone who was genuinely hurt by Jenna's videos as either too sensitive or a liar. They're putting the responsibility on marginalized people to not get offended, rather than putting the responsibility on Jenna Marbles to not be offensive. Not to mention, they're straight up gaslighting and attacking anyone who was brave enough to speak up about the harm Jenna caused. This creates an incredibly toxic community that essentially excludes anyone who stands up for themselves or others. Second of all, it is not up to Jenna Marbles' non-Black, non-Asian, male, or cisgender followers to decide that she is forgiven for her anti-Black, anti-Asian, misogynistic, or trans-exclusive language and actions. If they were not harmed by her, they cannot absolve her of that harm. No one can forgive someone on a stranger's behalf. That's just not how reconciliation works. And I'm not saying that Jenna needs to be forgiven by every single person before she can show her face on YouTube again, but as a general rule, maybe we shouldn't be speaking over the people who were actually harmed. Third, I find it concerning that so many people in the comments section are treating Jenna like their friend. I talked about this in part 1 of my canceling series, and I'm going to talk about it more in part 3, but it's important to remember that everything we know about Jenna Marbles was told to us by Jenna Mowry. She might be as nice and genuine and wholesome as we think she is, or she might not be. We only interact with her through her online presence, and what we do know is that her online presence has willingly and sometimes knowingly been racist and exclusionary in the past. Meanwhile, her real self evaded accountability for 9 years while getting rich off of her hurtful videos. And her real life isn't over now that she's leaving YouTube. Jenna isn't our quirky, cool best friend who lives in our screens. She's a multi-millionaire with a cultivated image. And believe me, I know it can be hard to accept, but Jenna isn't our friend, so we don't need to defend her as if she were. While this was undoubtedly a difficult and emotional video for her to make, we also have to recognize that she has pretty much all the power here. She was 100% in control of the video she created. She had the ability to plan, script, record, re-record, and edit it until it was exactly as she wanted it to be. She chose to upload this message onto her channel, knowing full well that her 20 million subscribers would hear and value her voice over anyone else's. Everyone who watched her video got to see her crying about how bad she felt, but we didn't get to see any of her critics crying about how her words and actions hurt them. In fact, if her subscribers ever do hear the voices of the people she's hurt, it's probably in the form of a faceless and ignorable comment. So millions of people end up feeling bad for her while dismissing the random commenters whose pain is just as, if not more, valid. I don't know what her process was like in filming and releasing this video. I don't know what kind of reflection she did in advance, or how much footage she cut, or who she got feedback from before releasing it. But it seems to me like this was a very raw and unfiltered video when it probably should have been thought out a little more. Considering that this is such a sensitive topic and she holds so much power, she probably should have sat on this video for a little longer, thought about how it would come across to videos, and considered if it aligns with her true intentions. And I want to reiterate that although I disagree with some specifics, I think it's generally great that Jenna took responsibility for her actions. She told us in this video that she is not unproblematic. She told us in this video that her words have hurt many people. She told us in this video that she chose to leave the platform in order to improve herself, and she might choose to come back when she feels like she can be the positive influence she wants to be. We need to respect that. We, as her viewers, have the responsibility to stop twisting her words to make her seem like a victim who was forced off YouTube by an angry mob of cancel-thirsty social justice warriors. And if we want to stand up for actual victims of actual life-ruining, ruthless mobs, let's focus on the Black protesters who are still getting tear-gassed by the police every day in the United States. I can't tell Jenna Marbles what to do, and I doubt she would ever see this video even if I did, but I hope that she continues learning and listening and improving and encouraging her audience to do the same. Jenna Marbles will be uncomfortable while acknowledging her past racism and trying to become more inclusive. All of her viewers will be uncomfortable while realizing that their fave actually is problematic and shouldn't always be defended. Everyone will be uncomfortable while making mistakes and being called out and learning from them and making new mistakes again. One lesson that I've been learning is that we can't grow when we're comfortable. I think it's so great and important that Jenna Marbles is taking time off from YouTube to become the person she wants to be. And if anyone wants to blame that on cancel culture, great. That means that cancel culture is helping her become better. That's the point. Thank you for watching this video. I meant to have it out earlier, but my house got unexpectedly busy and I didn't have a ton of free time. But part 3 of this series will be out hopefully within the next few days, and I'll be talking about steps we can all take to hold influencers and communities accountable. So stay tuned for that.